Hill sponsors Martin vs Joshua on Sky Sports Box Office.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS.
Take 2.
Alright. This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with Mackinson Marbella. Words wrong, yeah? We're at the press conference to formally announce CONOR BENN ahead of his debut this Saturday night at the O2. With me, I'm promoter HEARN.
I'd like to see you conduct a press conference one day.
I'd love to.
We'll do it. We'll do it one day.
What sort of level?
Low level.
Yeah. What you gonna do it and then?
I wasn't thinking Joshua against Martin.
No, but you're gonna do it and then you're gonna come in and then carry it on.
No, you can just do the whole thing.
That would be great. Do it.
All right.
For one of your doesn't have to be a pay-per-view card.
All right, okay, mate. Thanks for that.
CONOR BENN.
Yeah.
Interesting press conference.
It was.
Listen to it and
it was like I felt like it was you know when you get like a night with Nigel Benn and you get a chance to listen to him talk and just be in a kind of confined space listening to his stories. It kind of felt like that. I felt like I got massive value for money just sitting at the table listening to him, and he welled up and nearly had a breakdown, which was surprising. But of course, when you think about it, let's put things into perspective here. This is a guy who was, I know legend gets banded around. I would, for me, it was my era. I would say Nigel Benn was a legend of British boxing.
I'd agree. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. And his son, who lives over the other side of the world, is about to make his debut on Saturday night. And I think he just, last night when he was at the workout, he told me that he was really nervous about the workout. I was like, mate, wait till you get to Saturday night. So I can't imagine how he feels having his son about to make his debut on a night like this. Must be immensely proud.
Just want to pick up on some of the things. Obviously, you give us some great anecdotes about when Conor was a little bit younger and a story about him apparently getting beaten up, etc. First of all, some great words about Callum Smith.
I know. Last night at the workout, Nigel pulled me to one side and he said, "Who was that kid who boxed on Saturday night?" I went, "Callum Smith." He went, "My God," he went, "I've never seen anything like it." He said the way he tucked up and countered with a left hook, uppercut, left hook to the body, and he was speaking with such passion. I couldn't believe it. I texted Callum last night. I said, "Mate, Nigel Benn has just told me he thinks you're the best young fighter he's ever seen." He's like come back and gone, "Yeah?" And then today he said, Callum Smith, he said, "Do you mind if I talk about him at a press conference?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, the press conference is for your son." But it shows you how much passion he has. I mean, he said he believes he's going to go on to beat Golovkin, Kovalev. He might be right, but I phoned Joe Gallagher after the press conference. I said, "You're not going to believe what Nigel Benn has just said, like for 5 minutes solid at the press conference." Let's probably give it 18 months for Golovkin and Kovalev, but I think he's right. I think Callum Smith is going to be 100% a real deal. But to hear it from someone like Nigel Benn is, of course, a much better endorsement than me saying it. Because I could tell you that and everyone goes, "Oh, here he goes again." But when it's coming from Nigel Benn, surely you have to say that has some real credibility.
Is Callum Smith the best super middleweight you have at Matchroom?
Whoa! Oh, look, I had James DeGALE on the phone yesterday going, "Ed, what's going on?" I think.
And you've got Martin Murray.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think at the moment in world rankings, Callum Smith's #1 in the WBC. Martin Murray looks set to fight George Groves if Groves can beat Brophy. He's right up there as well. James DeGALE. Listen, at the moment, James DeGALE is top of the tree. He's the IBF world champion. He's got a good few years left, but in terms of the future, you can't ignore what we saw on Saturday night, which was an absolute 168-pound beast, 6'4", combination punching, hard hitting, and someone that is improving every single day.
I noticed as well, obviously during Nigel, and not many people sort of outspeak you in press conferences.
Thanks,
but
mate.
It was good to hear Nigel and
But rather than me.
Rather than you.
Yeah.
But something I did pick up on, obviously, and everyone else would have picked up on as well, that he said that he sort of looked at you and said, like, as if to say, I'm leaving my boy in your hands. Doesn't live anywhere near here, go back to Australia, and his career is left in your hands. What sort of responsibility or pressure is that to hear someone like Nigel Benn say that to you? Is it the same as your relationship with any other fighter? Do you feel like there's more emphasis on looking after him?
Obviously, you know, it's unique in that how often do you represent a fighter whose dad was someone like Nigel Benn? When I first started talking to CONOR BENN through Tony Sims, he said to me, you need to call Nigel and have a chat with him about his son. And this was, I don't know, February, something like that, maybe January, February. I thought to myself, oh no, I can't. And then I phoned Nigel Benn, and I was shocked by everything he knew about me, Matchroom. He talked a lot about my dad's relationship with Chris Eubank, and obviously how he saw that relationship grow. And he said he wants Conor to have that kind of relationship with me. And he said to me then on the phone, I have 100% trust and belief that you are the man to deliver for my son. And when he says it in the press conference there, to your face, in your eyes, different people are motivated in different ways. If you believe in me, if you believe I'm the man to deliver for you, I will drip blood for you to deliver. If you don't believe in me, if you don't trust me, to be honest with you, you might as well go. Because I'm not going to do the best job for you. And when you get that belief from someone, and I had the same belief from Carl Froch, I got the same belief with Anthony Joshua, with Kell Brook, Darren Barker. These people are like my family. And that goes for other fighters as well, not just because I haven't mentioned, Anthony Crolla, a good example. And when he won that world title, I can't explain how it made me feel. If you believe in me, I will deliver in spades for you. If you don't believe I'm the right man to guide your career, listen, we can still work together. But don't expect me to knock my cods out for 20 hours a day to get you to where you need to be. So when Nigel Benn says that to me, it makes me want to go back to the office and work all day, all night for CONOR BENN.
So, where does it stand with fighters that are sort of, I'm going to use some examples here. So where does it stand with people like Lee Selby, James DeGALE, who, like I said, it's confusing for some people to know sort of, from an outside perspective, who actually promotes them, because they're fighting on Sky. James DeGale's fight against Medina is going to be on Sky. Obviously, Lee Selby's fighting here this week. But where do you stand with people?
They're two good examples.
Like
they're two fighters where I promote them. They'll be boxing on Sky. I'm not the decision maker. I have input. But probably two examples there where you're probably not going to get 120% of my heart and soul. Just be straight up with you. Yeah, I'll do a good job for you. But if you believe in me, I'm the man. I'm the man to guide it and make it happen. If you don't, we can, like I said, we can still work together. You know, but it's difficult because the things that James DeGale's doing or Lee Selby, I don't necessarily agree with. But I can't ignore it because, you know, I'm sure they're making a few quid and, you know, and I'm involved and they're on Sky. But I'm not here for the money. I'm here for the journey. I'm here for my heart to beat through my shirt. I'm here to hear things like that. I've got a nice life. I've got a great business. I want to have fun. I want to cry. I want to laugh. I want to smile. I don't want to wake up every morning thinking, I've got to deal with this geezer today, and I can't stand him. You know, and that's not James DeGale or Lee Selby, but that's boxing, where you're in relationships. It's only like having a bird. If you don't trust that person, if you don't believe in that person, what is the point in being with them? If you trust them, if you believe everything they say, if you believe they're the right person for you, isn't it a beautiful thing? And you can't have that with everybody. Sometimes you have to earn that trust. Sometimes, some people aren't willing to say, I believe you're the man for me, you've got my 1,000,000% trust. Some are, some aren't. Some people you have to work to. Probably Carl Froch was a good example. He'd been in relationships he wasn't happy with. Probably got to me and thought, young Flash Harry. Not sure about him. And then after a while I thought, you know what, this kid's good. He's the man. And when that happened, look what I did for him. You have to motivate people, and that comes two ways. I have to motivate my fighters, they have to motivate me. I'll always try for you, but how many hours will I put in for you? Team is important. You look at Joe Gallagher. Joe Gallagher, a load of people think he's a pain in the arse. And you know what? He is a pain in the arse. But I believe in Joe Gallagher. I know how hard he works, and I believe in his fighters as well. Tony Sims, I know what he puts in. The relationship that we've got. Dave Caldwell, and there's others I'm not, I'm sorry if I haven't mentioned. Those are the relationships that you're on. You have that mutual understanding of the sport, of the business, and you trust each other. Tony Bellew, another example. And I'm sorry again if I'm missing out fighters, but I'd do anything for Tony Bellew. When I got in that WBC shot, I was so happy, so happy. And then there's other people who I think, might have represented them in the past or whatever. I mean, not for me. We've all got responsibilities. Sometimes I have to deliver for Sky. But if you want me to work for you, if you believe I'm the man to deliver for you, you're going to get everything from me.
But didn't you or have you not always said that the most important thing for a fighter is to earn them as much money as
100%.
possible to secure their future?
Yeah, 100%.
So I don't know whether James DeGALE, and we're using these examples because we're talking about them, are earning more money from obviously this Al Heyman way.
Yeah, I think,
than they would
and
do with you.
that's why, Kugan, I'll never turn around and say, you're mad to do that, you're mad. I understand the carrot. But this isn't a carrot, this isn't a 6 or 12 month carrot. I feel like James DeGALE can be a pay-per-view fighter in the UK. Right? But that boat has nearly sailed because where is he? He should be here.
He wants to be here.
But once you enter a deal like that, then you can't have both bites of the cherry. You're either here or you're there. And once you're there, the Medina fight didn't make sense for us to put on the April 9th card, on Joshua's undercard. What about James DeGALE on Joshua's undercard? James DeGALE should be on his own show. When he beat Durrell, he should have been boxing Lucien Boutte at the O2. But I don't blame the decision because I know what the rewards were. But let's look at the long-term picture. I'm not, and again, excuse me for my language, but it ain't about a quick fuck. This is about having a strategy and a long-term plan. But and again, going back to using my comparisons, whether it be jumbo jets landing or selling cars, this is just like having a relationship again. You may have the most beautiful girl at home, you really love her, and then you walk down the street and all of a sudden this girl comes out with a little miniskirt on, cracking body, and you make a mistake. You see the short-term gain. Can't believe I'm saying this. I hope my missus ain't watching. But you make a mistake, and look, okay, I know what you've done. And maybe you thought the grass was greener, and it wasn't. Well, what about what you've got? What about what you're building to? So,
So how much has your relationships with DeGALE and Selby changed since their link up with Al Heyman?
It's nowhere near what it was. It's still good. I spoke to James on the phone yesterday. He's coming to the O2, but you can't. When you're so emotionally involved and involved from a decision-making process in those fighters, and then all of a sudden maybe that's reduced by 50%, you can't expect the relationship to be the same or the communication to be the same. I don't need to talk to James DeGALE as often as I used to. So James DeGALE is a mate of mine. Do you know what I mean? And when he fights, I'll be told, I'll make sure it's on Sky. I'll make my money. But it doesn't necessarily mean I agree with what's happening. But it's not as if it's a terrible relationship and we can't stand each other, because it's not. It's a good relationship. I like him. But I know I could be doing much better stuff. But I know the deal that was in place. I don't blame anyone for taking it. If you think that's the right thing to do, you've got to grab it. Don't feel sorry for him. He's making a lot of money. But I believe in what I do, and I believe that I, quite frankly, am the best at what I do. And I don't mean to sound arrogant, it's just what I believe. And if you believe that too, if you believe I'm the man to make it happen for you, I will deliver. Make no bones about it.
Okay, I think you're needed here.
Right, okay.
So listen.
We'll carry this on tomorrow.
We'll carry this on.
Yeah.
Sorry, you just had to approve a backdrop.
Backdrop, yeah, for tomorrow, yeah.
So final undercard press conference tomorrow.
Yeah.
Final press conference Thursday.
Yeah.
Wayne opens to the public.
At the Piazza, yeah. Get yourself down. I mean, you saw from the turnout last night. It's going to be a big turnout at the Wayne, so it's good. I mean, last night was, like I said, we did our interview last night. It was a pleasure to be there. Great day for British boxing yesterday, and looking forward to the next few days.
Eddie, thanks for talking to Alpha TV. We'll catch up with you tomorrow.
Cheers, mate.
William Hill sponsors Martin vs Joshua on Sky Sports Box Office.